podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
So, United are back.
They're back, and they're still at home next weekend, you know, Ed. It's not a trip to Stoke.
Oh.
It's a weird second home game.
Perhaps I should record all of that again.
I think we're all right. Yeah, things are good here. I'm a bit shattered from having driven to Manchester and back today, but I think you probably win the person who's travelled most in the last 24 hours award.
Yeah, I don't know how many miles from Mexico City to Atlanta and then Atlanta to good old Blighty, but it's quite a lot.
So before we get into it, how was Mexico?
Yeah, it was fine. Busy, work and a little bit of play. Had a look around Mexico City. Went to some pyramids. There are pyramids in Mexico City, just outside. Saw some museums. Went to some restaurants. Bit of the town. Usual. It was all right.
Would you recommend Mexico City as a destination?
If you've got a moped, because the traffic is horrible.
Okay.
But yeah, it seemed like a nice city for what I saw of it, which honestly wasn't everything. And I did not get to the Azteca. I really did mean to, and I ran out of time.
Well, you might not have been to the Azteca, Ed, but I've been to Sixfields.
Wow.
I'm not sure I would recommend Northampton as a tourist destination, but it was very nice to go to Sixfields, and that this is going to be serious.
Is this you slumming it with the League Two crowd?
Seriously,
League One crowd.
Seriously patronising what was about to come next, but it was a nice little stadium. It's funny because one of the stands is half built. They nearly went out of business, Northampton, then they were rescued, and then they won League Two last season, which was funny when United fans started singing "You've only come to see United," and the Northampton fans started singing "You've only come to see the champions," which I thought was good. I thought that was good football banter. Makes a change from "We support our local team." It was a really interesting experience going there. You got to kind of walk around the pitch before the game because, it was there wasn't any special press facilities or anything. I just had a chair with my name on it, which was all ripped apart, which was funny. It's like, oh, I feel special. But it was good. And my favourite bit of the night was United had come out to warm up, but Zlatan hadn't come out. So when the main United team came out, there was a few quite enthusiastic boos from the Northampton fans, the ones that weren't trying to get Ander Herrera's autograph. But then, a few minutes later, Zlatan walked out, and he just took 3 steps forward, out the tunnel, scanned to his left, scanned to his right, shook his head slightly and ran to join the team. I've never seen a person look more imperious. And a couple of Northampton fans tried to boo him, but you could see they were getting swept away in Zlatan mania.
Very good. As they should. Show some respect. Where is Northampton anyway?
It is just...
I kind of know.
It's just about where the M1 joins the M6.
That's it. Exciting stuff.
The game was not super exciting.
No, I missed it all. I've seen brief highlights and goals, and that's about it.
You have not missed anything, really.
I've managed to not actually see very much football while I was away. I mean, I watched, what did I watch? The Derby, half asleep. I totally missed the Europa League game. I totally missed this one, and I watched the whatever it was last week when United were rubbish at Watford.
It was what?
Yeah, Watford, 6 in the morning on record or repeat or whatever you call it when it's on Reddit.
Neither one do you pronounce the re as the stressed syllable. You've been in America too long.
Something like that.
Yeah, so Northampton, Memphis Depay played and did one nice dribble. The big news, of course, in that game was that Rooney was played at number 9, adding to the number of places he's played.
Yes. I did see the pre-match interview with Jose Mourinho when he was asked, what are you expecting from Rooney? And he said, goals, goals, goals.
Goals. I'm expecting goals. He didn't get any.
He was apparently a Bond villain as well.
I mean, he kind of is, though, isn't he?
He'd make a very good Bond villain.
Rooney shanked one good chance wide, scored a goal off his face, but was offside, and was just generally pretty average. And United conceded a goal. I mean, it's funny, we talked about O-ring theory on the show last week, and this was serious O-ring theory in action, this game. The back four, I felt so sorry for Timothy Fosu-Mensah, because when you're a young player, you don't really want to come into a totally dysfunctional back four. He didn't play very well personally, I have to say, but I feel less inclined to blame him than I do Marcus Rojo, who was absolutely abysmal. And Northampton's penalty, there's no way in a million years it should have got as far as it did. Rojo had such a good chance to head it clear. So Rooney lost the ball. Blint did very badly when he lunged in for the penalty, but it was Rocco's failure to clear the header that was the real kind of proper disgrace in that moment.
Yeah, we talked before, last week, about what kind of team United would put out. I guess we assumed that Rojo would get a game of some kind, because there aren't that many younger players left in the squad, were there? So, you take a look at United's first team and the bench, and aside from De Gea having a break and Sam Johnson coming into the squad, into the squad. Sorry. Yeah, into the squad, and Timothy Fosu-Mensah starting. That's it, right, for younger players. Everyone else is a bona fide first-team player anyway. And I guess we saw Schneiderlin and Depay and Carrick get a game. And Rooney, now he's not really a first-team player anymore.
Fosu-Mensah was the only proper youngster in the team. Well, apart from Rashford, obviously, who was called upon because he was needed. It was funny, Zlatan was on the cover of the programme, and as I got there, looked at it and thought, I feel like that is a bit optimistic on the part of Northampton that he's going to end up playing. But of course, he was needed, so he was called upon. The big guns, Ibrahimovic and Rashford, both brought on early as well. Yeah, absolutely. And it made all the difference. And United were extremely, extremely, extremely comfortable in the second half. Herrera's goal's an absolute screamer. He just hit the post like a couple of minutes before that. He was obviously really finding his range. And it was beautiful. Very reminiscent of that goal against Yeovil. Obviously not the same kind of absolutely unbelievable goal, but the same long range hit, and then run over to the fans, and the surge of the crowd you could see, the whole crowd kind of surging down to where he was. It was great.
Good stuff. So United into what was that, the third round or the fourth round?
So that must have been the third round, I think, because you get the bye to the third round, don't you?
You do. And why have they rebranded it the English Football League Cup? Oh, I know they've got no sponsor. I suppose they rebranded the whole of the Football League the EFL, which sounds horribly about sort of marketing it to Chinese fans or something like that, I suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to call it the League Cup, as I did all along, or the Milk Cup, which is its actual appropriate name.
The thing is,
one of my age.
It was actually sponsored by Milk. That's why it was the Milk Cup. It's just that Milk is such a sort of innocent-seeming product compared to some of the things that were sponsored it. What's it? Rumbelows. That I think is the peak sponsor.
Wow.
I haven't thought about that for years, but I thought about it because I wrote an article for Bleacher Report beforehand about some good League Cup games, and of course United's best ever Rumbelows Cup game when they smashed Arsenal thanks to a Lee Sharp hat-trick. And
beautiful game, that one.
Yeah, Danny Wallace playing as a false nine. Were you there?
Was I there? Yes, I think I was, with Lee Sharp's hat-trick. Yes, I was, yeah. Yeah, one of many games at Highbury I've been to, where United had some very good results and some very poor ones too.
Yeah, but that was some classic Rumbelows Cup action. I'm pretty sure Rumbelows doesn't exist anymore.
No. What was it? It was like an electronics store or something.
Yeah, I feel like washing machines is what I think of when I think of Rumbelows.
Wow. One of these days we're going to run out of bonus content for our backers, and we're going to talk about favourite nostalgic brands of the 1970s.
80s, Ed. Come on, we're not that old. So yeah, talking of nostalgic brands, it was a bit disappointing to get City at home in the round after that. Not only because obviously it'll be a tough game or whatever, but just standing. It was kind of autumn evening. There was a bit of a chill in the air for one of the first times of the year. It was like this really old, dilapidated. Well, not old because it's actually not that old, but like a small little, romantic stadium. And then you think, oh no, it's all just going to go completely Hollywood again now. Because it's Guardiola against Mourinho yet again. Just like when they were manager of Madrid and Barcelona, just completely drawn to each other in all the cups and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I guess we don't get to draw them in Europe unless they drop out of the Champions League into the Europa. By which time we'll be out, of course. Let's hope this doesn't happen too often. No FA Cup third round, please. That is a shame. You do want something a bit more interesting in the early rounds of this crappy competition when you're going to play some fringe players. But I guess not. So that was good. United back after 3 defeats in a row. Even better was what happened today, Saturday, as we're a few hours after the game. That was a bit special for 45 minutes.
My level of giddiness at half-time was dangerous. Absolute dangerous levels of giddiness. Your very measured take on the podcast last week, you made it very clear you weren't worried about Jose Mourinho and Manchester United. You're not one of the football Einsteins he's been talking about all week, writing him off.
Definitely not a football Einstein. Yeah, I know. I mean, I wrote a reasonably positive piece on the United Rant saying, look, there's lots of good... Here's a few reasons we can, fix it. A couple of which came up today, which was one, get back to 4-3-3. It makes a lot of sense, which actually he sort of did today. Not really.
Not really.
Not really. Well, Pogba definitely was pushing forward, wasn't he?
That would kind of make it 4-1-5.
or the 4-1-2-3 that you wanted when we talked about it last week. So that sort of happened. And the other one, of course, is that Jesse Lingard is back in the team. No way there. It wasn't that. So someone was on the bench. Who could that have been?
Do you know that's only the second time he's been dropped since Fergie retired? Obviously, he's missed some fringe games and he's been out injured a couple of times. But I believe Stoke City last season is the only time before this that he's been dropped since Fergie retired. Absolutely incredible. And we scored 4 goals in the first 45 minutes without him in the team, meaning that basically, Ed, I'm pretty sure this 100% definitively proves we've definitely been right all along.
Oh, 100%, yeah, because, one game proves everything, definitely.
Absolutely, no question.
Yes.
One game where the opposition literally chose not to defend.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, United scored 3 off corners, didn't they? And, Smalling, the first one, easy as... Just no real challenge of note. Lovely move for the second goal, and then a couple more set pieces. Pogba with his header and Rashford at close range. So it was a bit too easy scoring those goals. And United were playing well in the first half, no doubt.
Oh, brilliantly.
Yeah, moving the ball really well. Lingard looked a lot sharper than the last time he played. Rashford dangerous whenever he got the ball. Mata beautiful on the ball at number 10. I mean, it's just really not having a dig at Rooney, but doesn't it make a difference when you play an actual number 10 at number 10?
Not even bothered about not having a dig at Wayne Rooney. United looked fluid. They all looked like they were on the same page. It looked like a team that made complete sense, that had an awful lot of balance to it, that could combine penetration with some pretty good, solid responsibility taking when the other team had the ball. Just absolutely looked a better team without him in the side.
Yeah, they did. And interesting combination in midfield of Pogba and Herrera. Herrera, obviously, but they dominated central midfield, and Marty and Drinkwater barely got the ball, did they, in the first half, at least. And, it look on paper, it looks a very attacking selection, doesn't it? No natural defensive midfielder there. And Pogba was pushing forward. There's no way you could say he was the more defensive of the two. Herrera... the one sitting a little bit further back, and United sort of really going for it in that first half. It was great stuff, and true, scored the goals off the set pieces, but really felt like they deserved a healthy lead at half time.
Absolutely, I've happened to have looked at the heat maps for the post-match article I wrote, and you're absolutely right. Pogba didn't push that far up. He was definitely playing in midfield, not as one of the attacking midfielders. And Mata and Lingard were, I did spend some time wondering who was playing at 10 and who was playing on the right, but the truth is they both played in both positions a lot. All 3 of them rotated, and it's Rashford, Lingard and Mata all swapped places, but really Mata and Lingard were interchanging, and Ibrahimovic and Rashford were interchanging, and Pogba was covering the kind of attacking duties mostly on the left, but Herrera, just completely disciplined defensive midfield performance, absolutely brilliant. And It was kind of interesting. His name, I think, was probably sung the loudest by the Stretford end in that game, which was interesting to see. I mean, I know he's a popular player, but I was almost a bit surprised by just how popular he seems to be with kind of match-going Reds. But you can see why, because he was just superb. The perfect foil for Pogba in a game like this, in a game we're going to dominate.
And I don't think that'll happen with every game, clearly not. I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit, haven't we, that kind of balance in midfield and the lack of a real defensive midfielder causing a problem, or the fact that he doesn't seem to really trust Michael Carrick. I thought Carrick might start this game, actually, and he didn't. But Schneiderlin really being a box-to-box player and Fellaini being something, I'm not sure what, but definitely not a defensive midfielder. So, he has got a problem with that, and he's trying to find the right balance, and he's trying to get the best out of Pogba, because when you get the best out of Pogba, you get quite a lot, don't you? Because he was superb.
Mesmerising.
He was, yeah. I mean, he got man of the match. I'm not sure he should have been, really. I thought Mata was absolutely brilliant, but, Pogba wasn't far behind, if he wasn't man of the match. But he was great. And that's what we're expecting from him. And funnily enough, there'd been quite a lot of criticism of Paul Pogba. He didn't play any pre-season. He's had five games now. That's about a pre-season, isn't it? Funnily enough.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think, in a way, the Southampton game, which he probably played quite a lot on adrenaline, and the kind of hype of the move and all that stuff, and the incredible atmosphere of that game, because then he didn't look rusty at all. That was his best game before this. So maybe that blinded people a little bit to the fact that he hadn't had a pre-season. You mentioned man of the match. I think there are 4 candidates for man of the match: Pogba, Mata, Herrera, and can you guess who the last person I'm going to say is, Ed?
Well, it's definitely not Daily Blind. David De Gea. David De Gea.
Come on!
No, Blind was very good. Do you know what? All his best games have come at left back for United. All of them.
Nah, not all of them. There was that Everton game against Lukaku. He had him in his pocket, playing at centre back. But a lot of his best games have come at left back, and he was absolutely superb today. Superb. But another player I don't think was quite a man of the match contender, because Blint had 2 assists and a pre-assist. Well, that's not a thing, but he was the one that put the ball into Mata for Rashford's goal from a corner. But Valencia was also excellent. I did so much hard work, and he just looks completely reborn under Mourinho. The Fellaini rebirth looks a bit like it was something of a false dawn.
Yeah, no, Fellaini he's not going to suddenly turn into a brilliant player. I actually thought Valencia had a couple of difficult games of what I saw anyway. But I agree, very good today, getting forward a lot. Allowed Lingard to tuck inside, which he is wont to do, isn't he? He's not really a touchline hugger. And Blint excellent on the other flank. Blint's best position is definitely back up to Luke Shaw.
Well, it'll be interesting, because Mourinho had a massive go at Luke Shaw after the derby, and I think again after Watford. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Luke Shaw gets his place back automatically when he comes back. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying it's going to be interesting to see if he does, because Blint made a very good case for it. There's a couple of small things I want to say. One, my seat was 5 rows back, halfway between the box and the centre circle on the Stretford end side. So I was far away from all the goals. The one goal I had a really good view of was Demarai Gray's absolute wonder hit for Leicester. What a goal that was.
Yeah, you'd have been right behind that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
so,
perfect angle.
Yeah, absolute stunner that was. I mean, I don't want to sound trite, but the second half was a little disappointing, wasn't it? All the energy went out of United's performance. Leicester got back into it. They scored that brilliant goal. I mean, it's not like United were ever at risk of not winning this game. Enough control, but it felt like the players gone, oh, we've done enough now, we can switch off.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair to them, they had done enough and they could switch off. I said to someone we could do with a 5th here when they scored their goal. Obviously, we just weren't in any danger, and it's that thing in sport, isn't it? Once you lose competitive edge, it's just so hard to maintain that kind of completely elite level of performance. I mean, they took Mahrez and Vardy off at half time. They might as well all have just gone home at half time, because that game was completely done, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, I don't expect Leicester to fall apart this season, although given that they've taken a hammering here, shipped 4 against Chelsea in midweek in the Cup and lost 4-1 at Liverpool, it looks like that's a possibility. It's interesting how much some of the players have kind of dropped off, though. You know, Wes Morgan, not his towering self. Mahrez, totally anonymous. Really should have taken that move in the summer, shouldn't he? And Vardy, I'm sure he's regretting turning down Arsenal. Well, you know, he'd still be winning nothing. It's just he'd have hope until March.
I don't know if he is, because, you know, he gets to play in the Champions League with Leicester, and that's probably pretty personally meaningful to him, isn't it? But yeah, being sat that close to the pitch, actually, that's where your old season ticket was.
Yeah.
It's just a few rows down from your old season ticket. But the thing that was really noticeable was how much more width we had on the left than the right, because in the first half, you know, it was loads of play over by that side, but on the right hand side there was very little. All the width on the right came from Valencia, but that worked. It worked really effectively, and partly that was because of Leicester, but partly because we had so much in the middle. Like Pogba and Zlatan have got some proper understanding, and Rashford is a football genius. There's one moment, of course, he scored that tap in, which is like just classic striker goal. But there was a moment in the build up to the corner that Smalling scored from, where the ball's over on the left hand side, and Rashford just plays a through ball header to Daley Blind. And I think so few players would have spotted that header was on and played it there. It was such an unusual decision and so effective. I just, you know, it's impossible not to think the world of that kid, isn't it?
Look, he's a top player. Clearly, in any position. I wish he wasn't so good at left back, left wing, because then he could play up front more often. He's not going to play up front very often this season, I don't think. Although Mourinho said that he would be playing a lot of games, and I would think he will, you know. And I guess it will be difficult for Anthony Martial to get back into the team. Out today because of the ankle and calf injury he took after being clobbered last week at Watford. And not the concussion that he probably suffered as well. But yeah, it's, you know, on this kind of form, it's going to be hard for him to get into the team. Hard for Henrik Mkhitaryan to get into the team as well.
Yeah, although, you know, either of them could probably replace Lingard in that lineup without it making a massive negative difference, although Lingard was good today.
Right. But you've got £35 million worth of Henrik Mkhitaryan, £30 million worth of Memphis Depay, and somewhere up to £60 million worth of Anthony Martial, not able to get into the team because of two kids from the academy.
Perfect. The Man United way. I mean, I don't know if that's the Man United way.
No, I think the Man United way is that clip of the Chevrolet mascots being brought out for their annual meeting with the players, which was very sweet because the mascots really did love it and gave the players a hug. But, you know, every 15 seconds, Keegan was going, Chevrolet mascots! Chevrolet! Welcome, Old Trafford, to Chevrolet!
Absolutely exhausting before the game and at half-time today. Just the amount of times I heard the word Chevrolet today. Every time, like a kind of tiny dagger through your heart, you know. Shut up about Chevrolet! We don't care! And now I've just said it twice as well. But anyway, yeah, those kids were very happy, and the players all had the mascots' names on the back of their outer shirts.
Can you even get a Chevrolet over here? I thought they were branded as Opel or something like that, or is that
No, I was driving to not this game, but whatever the game before was at Old Trafford that I went to, and I noticed somebody driving a Chevrolet, and I was like, I see it's working then.
Yeah, I've hired them when I've been in the US. Piece of
right.
Zorya. What do you know about Zorya then, Alan?
Oh, it's painful because it's true. Actually, can we just have a brief interlude to talk about punditry for a minute? Because this has to have been one of the worst weeks for punditry ever. We had Match of the Day 2, I think it was, last week, where Trevor Sinclair said Rooney should now be playing every week as a number 4 because he's got all the attributes to play holding midfielder. I suspect he has, apart from work rate and that long pass out to the right-hand side, he has none of the attributes required to play as defensive midfielder. That was a nonsense. The Banter Narrative wrote a brilliant piece of like Paul Scholes, a parody of Paul Scholes, saying that he really should give Rooney a chance in goal. David De Gea is obviously one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but think about what Rooney's done for this club. which is almost literally the line. Then we had on MUTV the clip that went viral of Keith from Wilmslow, who became a kind of internet hero for taking on Sammy McIlroy on the subject of Wayne Rooney. Keith from Wilmslow rings up an MUTV phone in and says Rooney can't just keep being picked because of what he's done for the club. Brian Robson did a lot for the club. It's ridiculous. And Sammy McIlroy almost literally went, yeah, but think about what he's done for the club. It was mind-blowing.
Yes.
Absolutely unbelievable. And Garth Crooks today, there was a clip doing the rounds off the BBC Match of the Day Twitter page on Final Score today. Garth Crooks just saying, yes, but Rooney works very hard. He should play. He works very hard. They just won't let it go. No,
they won't. We had Charlie Nicholas on Sky Sports doing his combined Leicester United 11. Didn't involve Paul Pogba. Had Danny Drinkwater in there, though.
Listen, they're all United Youth Academy products. It's fine.
Very true. Yeah, punditry's terrible. The thing is, to be a pundit, you have to have been a former footballer, and former footballers, a very, very small percentage of them really know anything about the game other than how to kick the ball. In terms of like tactics and stuff, how many of them ever make good coaches, right? A tiny percentage of them. Not too many of them are really students of the game, let alone articulate with it. So it's kind of sad, actually, because I think you'd get some very interesting punditry if you mixed it up a little bit, because there are some brilliant followers of the game who didn't happen to be players.
So this is not United related. This is a bit of a tangent. It's something I wrote about for you, Maxit. I'm just going to read you the verbatim quote of Terry Butcher on 5 Live. He's asked, what's gone wrong with Chelsea's defence? By the way, Chelsea only kept 9 clean sheets in the league last season, so there's only 6 teams kept fewer. So it's still bad. It's not suddenly bad. But anyway, Terry Butcher says, David Luiz, he's back and look what happens. I could not believe Chelsea took him, and all of a sudden there's panic stations when David Luiz is in and John Terry's out. I think it just shows you how much John Terry organises and how much respect he has from his fellow defenders. It's like, first of all, immediately there, he said it's David Luiz's being there that's the problem, and then immediately changed it to being that it's because John Terry's out that they've gone bad, which are 2 separate things altogether. Then he starts saying, he's asked by, I think it's Pugac, whether Gary Cahill should have be a better leader by now. And Butch says, he should have done. He hasn't done it with England. He hasn't done it with Chelsea. You know, on the tyres of a car, you have one nut that is the key nut. I'm not saying John Terry's a nut, but he's the key nut. And they've obviously lost it, so they haven't got a key nut. And that's why the wheels keep falling off. Right? It hasn't even got a badge yet. This is where he really goes proper off the rails. Just be good defenders. Stop pulling your socks up over your blooming knees. Stop wearing this hair, this big hair and everything else, and undershorts, and be a defender. What? Stop wearing undershorts. Stop wearing your socks over your knees.
Look, it's the musical equivalent of, or the football equivalent of saying, all this modern music is just noise, isn't it? I'm sure he doesn't like coloured boots either, or foreigners who don't like to do it at Stoke on a Tuesday.
No, you won't be surprised that the next paragraph featured the words, just kick it into the stands if you need to.
Yeah.
So, a bad week for punditry all round.
It's rarely a good week, to be honest.
That's true. That is true.
So, that was a very good attempt to not talk about Zorya Luhansk.
Over to you, Ed.
Yeah. So, well, I know a little bit, only because I decided to write like 2,500 words on the Europa League when the draw came out. Because you do, right? Current standard of comments, naught.
How many comments are there insulting you that you had to delete?
No, none actually. Yeah, no, people couldn't even be bothered to insult me. Anyway, so Zorya, who are one of the smaller Ukrainian sides, you could say, don't even play in their own town anymore because they are in eastern Ukraine, which is basically war-torn at the moment. So Russian-backed rebels trying to take down the Ukrainian government. The actual town, Luhansk, is run by the People's Republic of Luhansk or something like that, said rebels. So they're playing many miles away at the Zlatovic Arena in Zaporizhia, which holds about, 12,000 people. So, just the kind of place you like to go, Paul.
No.
Glamorous compared to Northampton. Now, this is a good bit of fun. Their ground is located, or the new ground is located on Lobanovshoko Street, which is named after Valery Lobanovsky, if you remember him, legendary manager that he was.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. That's it.
You told me you'd done research.
That's what I've got for you. I've done some research.
Do you know anything about the team itself?
Well, they were fourth last season. They probably wouldn't have made it into the Europa League, but I think Zenit? No, not Zenit. One of the other big Russian teams, whose name I've totally forgotten, was banned for breaching UEFA financial fair play rules, so they actually made it in. They've been doing all right this season. They lost a couple of times only. They beat Legia Warsaw. What else? It was Dnipro and the rest of it's unpronounceable who breached UEFA financial fair play rules, so were out. So, basically they're a sort of slightly better than mid-ranked Ukrainian side, don't play in their own town anymore because it's in the middle of a war zone, and they only made the Europa League because one of their rivals was banned. So, they're good and all that.
They drew with Fenerbahce at home.
They did, which isn't bad.
No, it's not. That's literally the only thing I know about them. I think we said this when the draw happened. I joke about a lack of European football knowledge, but generally speaking, when you play in the European competitions, I have heard of the opposition. This, I think, is the first time I can remember United playing someone I genuinely hadn't heard of before the draw.
Mind you, if you look at the Europa League draw, even the group stage, I don't even mean the fourth qualifying round or whatever. Take a look at some of these teams, and I'm not sure I've heard of some of these, and I do like to think I'm definitely not a European football hipster, and I'm watching, the second division of the Romanian league or something like that. But there's some teams in here I'm not sure where they come from. So, Group C, for example, do you know where Gabala SC come from?
Definitely not.
No, me neither. FC Astra Giurgiu.
I'm going to guess Kazakhstan.
I have no idea. US Sassuolo Calcio.
Sassuolo, Ed.
Oh.
Literally a Serie A team.
Sassuolo, yes, I do know.
We've both heard of them.
We've both heard of them. I'm just reading it off the page. I do know them. Point being, many teams I don't actually know, and it reaches deep into the football hipsterdom, doesn't it, to actually know some of these.
Again, like with the Northampton game, I wonder if we'll see a very similar team. I wonder if we will see Romero, especially that we lost against Feyenoord. Does Mourinho go, okay, we've lost against Feyenoord, we have to now win this game? If he wants to qualify, obviously this is a complete must-win game.
Yeah, it's also a game that United should be able to win with some fringe players.
I agree that we should be able to win with some fringe players, but O-ring theory, Ed. O-ring theory. We should be able to win with some fringe players, but how many goals is Rocco going to ship on his own if he plays?
Yeah, true. That said, Stoke at the weekend, I would not blame Mourinho for playing some fringe players. I don't think many United fans would blame him for taking the whole competition like this anyway, would they? Really? If United dumped out of the group stage, so what?
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. It does not matter one little tiny bit, does it? The only thing is, of course, we have got so many fringe... Rooney's got to get a game, hasn't he, sometimes? So we could do with staying in a few cup competitions a bit longer so we can get Romero and Rooney a run out.
Cruel, but fair. Rooney's not going to play much for the rest of the season, is he?
He definitely shouldn't. We'll see what happens. It feels like it's too good to be true at this point. I don't know. This just sounds like I hate Wayne Rooney, which... having kind of deliberately said, I've got an agenda, I've now at last got an agenda, but that agenda's been fulfilled. This is just about him. It's not even about him not being picked in the first team ever, because that would be ridiculous. It's about him not being the undroppable force. That's really all that it is. And that Leicester game, that has sated that thing that for some reason, the last two managers have been completely enthralled to Rooney, and it was starting to feel like maybe Mourinho wasn't giving him enough rope to hang himself, but actually was enthralled himself. But really, you have to say that Northampton game kind of swung that to making it really seem like Mourinho was indeed like just saying to Rooney, I can't pick you. You've played terribly in all the 4 or 5 positions I've played you in this season.
Mind you, in his pre-match press conference, he blamed England for ruining Rooney's form. You know, completely ignoring that Rooney's been shit for 3 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've seen people on Twitter saying, oh, of course he's bad. He's taking the criticism to heart. Is it any surprise he's bad? No, it's no surprise he's bad, but not because he's been getting criticism, because actually he's been sailing through relatively uncriticised for huge swathes of his terrible form. And it's Richard Keys tweeted today. This is brilliant. Like, unbelievable, terrible treatment of Rooney. How can a club legend be treated like this? What's wrong with these people?
What? Dropped after playing terribly all season. Like, left out of the side for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, essentially. It's hardly a crime. Anyway, yeah. So I hope Rooney can rediscover, Rooney can have a little renaissance, you know, but I don't see where it's coming from. That would be my hope. That would be the dream, but it seems unlikely. All right, that's enough of Zorya Luhansk and Wayne Rooney and his upcoming date with Destiny in the Europa League. Let's take some questions. All right, Wowzers says at Andy United, that was fun. When was the last time you actually had fun watching us? NB, not, oh, it's all relative fun. It wasn't long ago, it was Southampton. That was fun. Really enjoyed that game. But I'd say the FA Cup semi-final and final as well. And before that, Stoke at home last season when Martial scored that brilliant counter-attacking goal. Yeah, it's not been that much fun this season, you know. All right on the opening day of the season, wasn't it? Sort of.
Bournemouth,
you know, just about. Yeah, okay at Bournemouth. Pretty good against Southampton. A bit rubbish against Hull, City, Feyenoord, Watford and Northampton. The Hull was a lot of fun, though. I did enjoy watching United against Hull because they just wouldn't stop trying. And that was... Mkhitaryan and Rashford came on and made all that difference in that game. That was quite fun too. So there has been some fun this season. There will be more, I'm confident. But I tell you what I was trying to remember was when the last time we were 4-0 up at half-time was. And I just can't remember. I can't really remember the last time we were 4-0 up, to be honest. It feels like it's been a very long time indeed, anyway. No, scored 5 against Midgetland last year. That's true, but I don't know if we were 4-0 up. No, I feel like most of them came in the second half. So yeah, they scored at some point, didn't they? Yeah. And I don't think they scored when they were miles behind. Anyway, at Ryan Dino says, is Rooney going to break the goal scoring record by miscontrolling the ball into the net? It was funny when he came on and his first touch was a shank off his shin. I did have a little chuckle in my seat at that. But no, I think he's probably going to break the goal scoring record, scoring perfectly good goals. Next season. He's not going to be at Man United next season. At Dunknans, who I'm going to give friend of the Rantcast status to, even though he's being mean because he's not a United fan, but he listens to the show. And he's a good man. And he says, are you happy with your young long ball football? Is this the United way? A lot of long balls today, but it was beautiful. The ball, I don't know if you saw the goals against Northampton, but the absolute hit and hope that Herrera hit was really funny. And I felt sorry for the Northampton goalkeeper because he didn't seem to know that it was Marcus Rashford's legendary force of goal scoring that he was up against. I think there's nothing wrong with mixing it up. Nothing wrong, you know. What did we expect? So, you know, Mourinho is what Mourinho is, and he's always had a mix of, you know, all of his teams have played a little direct sometimes when they needed to, you know. United had 70% possession today, so I don't think they were just booting it along for the sake of it. They do play into the channels. They've got plenty of space in which to do it. And he's hardly one of these managers who wants to play all that funny tippy-tappy stuff, is he? I never mind a long ball into the channels. Like, I never mind a long ball for someone to chase and latch onto.
like a long through ball, essentially. It's a lot different to smashing it up to the big man and hoping he gets a knockdown, isn't it?
No, and that's what Mourinho encourages, fast transitions. And he doesn't have his defenders pull their socks up over their knees either.
Oh, this is one for you, Ed. You'll like this one. This is definitely fits into your agenda. At Hez133 says, do you have an update on Ashley Young's cost per goal/assist?
Yeah, it's over 1 million.
Oh dear, he came on today, ran around manfully, misplaced a pass to Valencia, then stared at Valencia like Valencia had done something wrong, then failed to trap a slightly bad pass from someone else and just stared at them. I was like, Ash, not sure you want to be really aggressively staring at all your teammates. I think some of this might be on you. At Level 2 Rogue says, is it time to drop all pretense that anybody else is better and get Blint to do all our set-piece deliveries? Maybe not the free kicks, but yeah, Blint should definitely be on corners. 3 goals from corners today. Remarkable.
I know. I'm trying to remember if we scored 3 goals from corners through the whole time that Van Gaal and Moyes were in charge.
I spoke to an analytics guy on Twitter in the week who I think I'm going to try and get on the show, actually, because he said something really interesting. I said my take on United's set pieces is that they've been absolutely abysmal for ages, and he said it's just not true. They were way above expectation under Ferguson and have been basically average since he left. So I'll get him on that and have a bit of a chat with him about that. That might be interesting.
I'd like to know why they're way above average under Ferguson. It's not as if United really did something particularly clever on corners. Were they just well organised or something?
Yeah, maybe you just put a ton of work into them. I mean, there is this theory, isn't there, among analytics people that set pieces are hugely underexploited in football, and that's But anyway, anytime anyone talks about corners, just makes me miss David Beckham. That's what happens. At Paul Hay 1967 says, how's the gidiometer this week? Up and down like a yo-yo lately. Totally convinced we're going to win the league again, to be honest.
Yeah, not sure about that. City, comfortable victory again today, so already quite a few points behind. But, we'll be all right.
Absolutely.
Ish.
I think we'll be all right. Last week I was very upset about the whole thing, but he's dropped Rooney and Fellaini since then, and everything looks nice again. So, we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, now, coming up to Stoke at the weekend, and, will they come back into the team?
We'll come on to that in a sec. What's better, asks at bifurcated_MBM, world peace or Marcus Rashford? It's world peace, lads. It's obviously Marcus Rashford is a good footballer, but world peace would benefit every single individual on earth. How is that even a question?
That's true, but I mean, a little bit, just a little bit of fighting, loads of goals for Marcus Rashford. Go on, it's fair trade.
Do you think that it was Jose's plan all along, asks B Bishop 87, to phase out Rooney? Or has he bowed to fan/media pressure?
Well, he's not bowing to fan/media pressure. What media pressure? I just don't buy there is any. Rooney's fan club in the media have been fully behind him all the time. It is kind of funny watching people on Twitter badger Gary Neville. Say something about Rooney and he just refuses to. It's, so I think he's been given a very easy ride given the standard of his performances. So if Mourinho has dropped Rooney for the longer term, and this isn't just a one game, if this is a Mourinho and Casillas moment, then I think he's made his own decision there.
Neville's I didn't see this obviously, but I heard that Neville was actually quite reasonable on the show and said it was inevitable that Rooney was going to be dropped based on his form. I don't know if that's true. Did you hear him say that on Sky?
I did not hear him say that. I tuned into the game about 5 minutes before kickoff.
At Born_and_Red says, I wonder what this week's Rantcast will be called. I mean, we had we're actually quite good edition. Then there's the no, we're absolutely completely terrible edition. We could either go with no, it's fine. We are actually good. But this is starting to get ridiculous now. So I think we might just call it I told you so this week.
#agenda.
At Kai, no, I'm not going to ask another Rooney question. But I liked your question, Kai. And that's Kai McMahon. The best moment of the first half wasn't even a goal, says Kai. Pogba to Zlatan, so good. So good. So I guess that's the one that Zlatan volleyed over the bar.
Right, lovely clipped ball through and on his chest, and really he'd done so much work. He's got to put that in from there. He's about 8 yards out.
I mean, I guess a spinning volley is hard, even for Zlatan.
Stop pulling his socks up so far.
Hasn't scored for a while. Bit of a drought.
No, he hasn't.
At United's Way says, wonderful. How wonderful is it to see Blint, Mata and Herrera play so well? Such clever ballers, but haven't always been first choice. Yeah, I mean, a team with those three in it playing well is going to always be playing some pretty football, isn't it?
Yeah, I would like to see Herrera in the team every week, and Mata. And, Blint's got lovely hair.
Oh man, Daley Blint was so good today, Ed. He was so good.
I don't mind him at left back. He's definitely his best position.
Yeah, you've always said that. To be fair to you and your anti-Blint agenda, to be fair to you, you have always indeed said that. All right, so we've got one more game, and that is, talking of tippy-tappy nonsense, we're playing Mark Hughes' new look Diddy Men Stoke.
New look Diddy Men Stoke, who are not so new look rubbish. Really, really bad this season. Drew today against West Brom. Unfortunately for them, goal in injury time from Rondon to snatch a draw in the face of victory.
How happy do you think Tony Pulis is? As we record this right now, how much do you think Tony Pulis enjoyed that?
Quite a lot, I'd imagine. Quite a lot. His 1000th game as well, that was for Pulis. So congratulations, Tony. Well done. 1000 games of beautiful long ball football.
A United fan growing up, Tony Pulis was.
Yeah.
Didn't exactly learn the kind of United way, as it were, did he? Maybe it was Dave Sexton era United.
Yeah, no, it probably was. Stoke rubbish at the moment. So not only losing in the league every week, got smashed by Palace last week, and Tottenham the week before that, but knocked out of the Football League Cup by Hull, of all teams.
Yeah, I mean, they are really in terrible trouble, and there's been a lot of analysis of it. I was listening to the Football Ramble earlier in the week and made quite the salient point that when a team ships 4 goals as often as Stoke are this season, you wonder whether they are playing for their manager. And Mark Hughes has always been a spiky character, hasn't he? You can quite easily, I don't think he's a bad manager by any means. I mean, he's got a pretty good record, and Stoke, he has done quite well with Stoke up to now, but there's something very, very wrong there, and there shouldn't be, because they've got a good team. I mean, some very good players at least.
Right. Well, Peter Coates, Stoke chairman, or is it Coates? He said, look, we finished 9th in the league 3 times in a row, which is kind of remarkable. I didn't realise they'd finished 9th 3 times in a row. And, what's the problem? It's only September. Have some context, I think he said. So, and that's fair enough, I think. They didn't actually win a game last season until the end of September either. So maybe they're just slow starters, but they are starting very slowly. And certainly if it's like this in December, there'll be pressure on Hughes to go, won't there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, if you think about the players that team's built around, they are sort of famously slightly flaky. Arnautovic, Shaqiri, both remarkable talents, but you would describe both as mercurial, wouldn't you? Neither of them exactly regular. Neither of them regularly hit their top form.
The kind of players that wouldn't like it on a Tuesday night at Stoke.
He does. He seems to essentially be buying the kind of players who wouldn't like it on a Tuesday night at Stoke.
Yeah, and it's going to blow up in his face by the looks of it. They've got to fix it soon because they play United, and then there's a couple of 3 relegation 6-pointers in a row for Stoke: Sunderland, Hull, and then Swansea. After that, before the end of October.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is going to be the outcome of that game?
I think we're going to have young Fellaini and Rooney back in the side, and we're going to lose. No, I don't. No. Look, assuming no disasters from the Thursday night game and a bunch of injuries and stuff. It is unfortunate to play Thursday night and then sort of Sunday lunchtime. So I imagine that'll be mentioned by Mourinho a few times, give him an excuse to play a few fringe players. Let's hope there's no disaster and no injury. I think United will dominate this game. and win comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, that is what should happen, isn't it? And you'd think, I wonder if he'll play the exact same 11 against Stoke that he did against Leicester. Maybe, I guess it depends if Shaw's back. But I think apart from that, I don't think there's any real reason to even... You could drop Lingard for Martial, but even then you're kind of messing with the winning formula a little bit there, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, we've got a week. See if Martial's back, see how fit Mkhitaryan is, and Shaw, and so on, yeah. I guess that there will be some commentary about Rooney in the next week, won't there? Just a few headlines. And it would be a surprise to see him back in. You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense given United just scored 4 and functioned pretty well. Yeah,
I imagine that Rooney will play against Zorya in midweek, and that, of course, will have a big bearing on the team against Stoke, whether we pick up any injuries. So, all right, what's your predictions for these 2 games?
I think United will win 2-1 at home to Zorya, obviously. Duh. No, maybe I'll give it more than that then, because it's at home. I'll say 3-1 and 3-0 against Stoke.
All right, I'm going to go with 2-0 and 3-1 to United.
God, Giddy meter is high this week.
Yeah, it really is. 5 goals in a week, only 1 conceded. It could happen. We scored 4 goals in 45 minutes today. God, it was good. It was really exciting and fun and good.
It was indeed, yeah. Enjoyed it. And, you know, there haven't been too many occasions like that over the last 3 years, have there?
No, absolutely.
Let's hope for some more.
Absolutely. And Leicester were generous visitors, it has to be said, in terms of moderating the Giddy-ometer. But even we've played plenty of decent, not particularly decent opposition in the last 3 years and not done that to them. And you know, that was a game where there didn't look to be any major weak links in United's side. Everyone played well. Basically, everyone on the pitch played well. And the very good players, a couple of them played absolutely excellently. And that's a recipe for success.
Very good. So coming up after this, what have we got? We're doing bonus content for backers, talking about their 2005 Ashes and the monthly bonus Q&A. Until then, everyone else, you can get us on Twitter. I'm at United Rant and Paul is at UTD Rantcast and on UMaxit and on where else? YouTube with Paul's House.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and on Bleacher Report, sponsored by Chevrolet. No.
Yeah, you can read a load of good quality writing at unitedrant.co.uk as well. And if you want access to the bonus content, head over to patreon.com/rantcast. The show is brought to you by the good people of Patreon. That's how we're able to keep doing this show. So,
and not be sponsored by Chevrolet. Exactly.
This is basically a way of us not saying the name of a brand over and over again, but we seem to just have said the name of a brand over and over again. Porsche, Ford, Audi. I'm just trying to...
There are other car manufacturers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tesla.
Yes, Tesla. Prius.
I went, actually, while I was in the States, I went in the Tesla.
Did you?
That was good fun, yeah.
What was it like? Did you drive it or were you passenger?
No, and my demands to put it on autopilot and insane mode fell on deaf ears. Very disappointing.
So, without giving any names away, was it a Silicon Valley billionaire that was driving the Tesla at the time?
No.
Okay, right, okay. Silicon Valley millionaire?
Not Silicon Valley.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next week.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.